Decadently dense, rich, chocolatey, chewy and fudgy, with the most importantly crinkly crackly tops. You need to give this brownie recipe a try. To make the best tasting brownies, you need a lot of good quality chocolate. We're going to be adding cocoa powder as well, but you want majority of the flavour to come from the actual chocolate. I'm using dark chocolate, about 50% cocoa solids, for the best flavour. Cut it or break it up into small pieces and add to a medium-sized heat-proof bowl. You'll notice these brownies contain a lot of chocolate, a lot of butter and a lot of eggs. They're super indulgent and great for special occasions. Although if you're looking for something a little less indulgent, I have a recipe for brownies which use apple puree instead of butter and eggs on my website. I'll have it linked below. If you would like the full recipe for these brownies, it will be on my website as well as the full measurements in the information box below. To the chocolate, we're also going to add the butter, about 2 sticks or a cup. Cut the butter into pieces so it will melt easier and add to the bowl with the chocolate. Place the bowl over a saucepan of simmering water, making sure the water doesn't touch the bowl. This is called a bain-marie or a water bath, a popular technique to melt chocolate. The steam is trapped in between the saucepan and the bottom of the bowl. The heat is very indirect and gentle, so there is less chance of burning the chocolate. Leave the chocolate and butter to melt gently for about 5 minutes, stirring occasionally until it is smooth and glossy. While the chocolate and butter is melting, get started on measuring out the dry ingredients. There are only a few: all-purpose flour, a pinch of salt and cocoa powder. Brownies don't need a rising agent like baking powder or baking soda, as they use eggs to rise, which will be added later. This recipe only requires a cup of flour, as these brownies are very fudgy and rich. There are quite a few different types of brownies, all depending on the ratio of chocolate, butter, eggs and flour added. More cake-like brownies use less chocolate, butter and eggs, but more flour, and chewy are somewhere in between. Use a spoon to mix the ingredients to combine. Once the chocolate and butter have completely melted, remove the bowl from the heat. Measure out 2 cups of white sugar and add to the bowl. Stir to combine until there are no longer any lumps of sugar. Adding the sugar now helps to dissolve it with the heat while also cooling the mixture down to room temperature. In a large mixing bowl, crack in the eggs. You'll need 5 good quality medium-sized free-range eggs. Use a whisk to beat the eggs for about a minute or so until they become frothy. This is the best technique for getting that crinkly crunchy top to the brownies. The sugar and eggs create a meringue-like texture on top while the brownies are baking, so incorporating more air into the eggs just helps the top become thicker. Once the eggs are frothy, pour the chocolate mixture into the bowl and use the whisk to combine. Switch to a spatula and sprinkle over the dry ingredients. Fold the brownie batter together until there are no longer any lumps and it becomes shiny. Be careful not to overmix, as this will result in tough brownies. Pour the brownie batter into a lined and greased tin and place into the oven to bake for about 30 to 40 minutes. To check if your brownies are done, test with a toothpick. There should be crumbs sticking to it, but not raw batter. Remove the brownies from the oven and cool completely in the tin before slicing. Let me know if you give these brownies a try. I would love to see a picture. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this recipe and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!